Sam, dear, are you free a moment? I am having your child, Sam.
Tell no one. You live with my brother and marry him. John will absolve us of all our sin.
Think of Cain, the first murderer, and imagine him standing by the side of his dead brother, whom his own hand had slain. In a fit of jealousy and anger, he lifted his hand against his brother's life. The blow fell, and he was a murderer. What must his feelings have been as he saw him stretched upon the ground? He that hates his brother is in darkness. Almost every child whose parent takes a newspaper has heard of John C. Colt, and of the dreadful murder he committed, and that murder was done in a fit of anger and passion. Oh, Cain, what hast thou done?
Mr. Colt? Samuel Colt? Say, how'd the revolver fare down on the Seminoles?
I believe the phrase was an entire failure. But don't you worry. I've got my men working on it as we speak. And the Texas Rangers are interested now. You ever see a ship's wheel? It spins and spins, but can be locked into a fixed position. The same method applies to the Colt revolving gun. You can be confident that you've got a true friend by your side, with 6 hearts in his body, that can always be relied upon. God made men. I'll make them equal. Care to invest?
We're all down on hard times here, sir, but maybe someday. Let's get to the jail.
If we can bring out the remains, if it pleases your honor, I would ask that the ladies in attendance depart the courthouse so as not to subject them to the offensive odor. We will adjourn immediately afterwards so the room may be ventilated. Now, given the size and shape of the hole in the skull, it is unlikely that a hatchet was used to create the wound. I would venture to say it's more likely that of a gunshot. Perhaps a pistol of the other Colt's make? Mr. John Colt, you are also the brother of Samuel Colt, inventor of Colt's patent firearms, are you not? Is it possible that an impact such as that on the victim's skull could have been made by one of your brother's weapons, Mr. Colt? Is that true, Mr. Colt? Perhaps you didn't hear me.
Damn you.
Is it true, Mr. Colt? Could your brother's weapon have made such a hole?
Well, of course it can. It's a Colt gun. But I didn't have any gunpowder, and not a single witness heard a gunshot. Besides, not having any gunpowder, cap powder of course, a bullet couldn't penetrate the skull, much alone bruised. Now I've said that. Samuel.
Who are you talking to?
Just saying my prayers.
For a prisoner, you sure are living the rich man's life. I don't think there's even enough room in heaven for all your possessions. Are you ready?
Death has no terrors for me, Samuel.
Sometimes I still cannot believe it.
Then it is at the instigation of the devil Mr. John C. Colt assaulted and brutally murdered Adams with a hatchet.
Was convicted for concealing a misfortune, not for killing a man.
I know. Why do you think we've gone through trial after trial, appeal after appeal? We've gone to Governor Seward's house, for God's sake. And all for the columns in a ledger not adding up.
No, Samuel. For the wants and necessities of a man not adding up. To protect the foundation that our forefathers set forth in the Declaration of Independence. To allow a man the blessings of this enlightened life. The whole reason the science of bookkeeping exists is to silence the never-ending doubts and disputes and to expand the minds of the young men devoted to it.
Yes, John. I've read your textbook. I just worry. Let's get you ready for the ceremony.
The prisoner has forgotten his victim, heaped insult on his humble and bereaved family, defied the court, denounced the jury, and presented himself before the executive as an injured, not as a penitent man. Toward the prisoner, no one except the brother who has stood by him feels more for him than I do. My heart bleeds for him.
I spoke with Caroline briefly.
And yet, there are cases where we have no right to allow our sympathies to control our judgment.
The child. What does she name the baby?
Samuel.
We scarcely pick up a newspaper but find 2 or 3 accounts of murder within.
Samuel Colt.
But hearing that this man brutally murdered his publisher and stuffed his body in a crate down the Mississippi, half the country was tying his hangman's noose before the trial even started.
You're doing the right thing here, John. Caroline will be better off like this. I owe her that much.
Reverend?
John, Sheriff Hart has asked me to inquire at what time you would like the execution to take place.
Three hours. Give me 3 hours, Reverend.
We gather today to join in matrimony Mr. John Caldwell Colt and Miss Caroline Henshaw.
We do not wish to impugn a woman's virtue, but once she has lost that, when she comes upon the stand, we do not find it necessary to call evidence to impeach it. Her only anchor to this world is John Colt. She is by him ensign, and the period of her accouchement draws near.
Jesus said, I am come that you might have life, and that you might have it more abundantly. This abundant life for many is an impossible dream. Yet God wants us all to have this abundant life, and proved his love for us by giving his only Son, that we might have this life.
And it would be strange indeed if the young mother would not come forward to testify strongly in favor of the Father.
Will you, Caroline, have John to be your wedded husband till death do you part?
I will.
And I will die in Christian fortitude.
We'll be ready at sundown, John.
I'd like to be left alone to write some final letters.
Yes, of course.
God bless you, Sheriff. And may you prosper in this life, which soon will close on me.
The prison's on fire! The prison's on fire!
What about John?
He's committed suicide. Colt's dead in his cell.
Good people all, I pray give ear. My words concerning much. I will repeat a tragedy. You never heard of such.